Hey everyone, welcome to the video. It is week 4 of my training series on the build to Edinburgh Marathon. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. There's going to be a ton of videos on this build, and then moving forward later on into the year. We're coming up to Inverness Half in March, so that'll be a good one to test the fitness. And then we've also got Boston UK Marathon in April and Edinburgh Marathon in May, which is what this training series is all about, is going for that sub 3. If that's something you're interested in and you want to follow along, hit subscribe and come on the journey. Hopefully we can hit 2k subs by the time we run that Edinburgh Marathon, and that would be a nice goal to get to. This is the week after my 10k race, which is pretty much just a recovery week. Absorb that 10k effort and then slowly introduce effort back into it. So I just did one threshold session on the Thursday, whereas I would normally do double threshold 2 days a week. So yeah, it's pretty chilled one, so we should get through this one quite quickly, and hopefully I don't keep you too long, because if you're anything like me, you don't get too much time to watch YouTube. So if you are watching this, I really do appreciate you spending time watching this. On Monday, I did just a couple of super easy recovery runs. They were both 35 minutes. In the morning, I averaged 5:49 per K and 111 heart rate, so super chilled. And then in the evening, averaged 5:41 per K and 116 average heart rate. So they were both pretty chilled, and just getting the legs moving and kind of getting that active recovery in. I didn't feel too bad during those runs, considering it was after a 10k PB. I felt quite fine. It was on Tuesday where I did 40 minutes in the morning, 41 minutes at 5:50 pace, average heart rate of 112, but it felt a lot harder than that. Like, I just felt flat, kind of tired legs and that. So yeah, I just kept it super easy, 5:50 per K, and got it done, 7k. And moved on to the evening session, where I did this on the treadmill because Jen was heading to the gym. So I decided to do it on the treadmill. I was just going to do 40 minutes, but then Jen did some cardio after, and I just kept going on the treadmill for another 7 minutes. So I did 47 minutes. My average heart rate was 110, and it was 5:27 pace. So pretty chilled, and just kind of keeping the legs moving. On the Wednesday, I did my normal hour medium long run in the morning, 5:31 pace, just keeping it super chilled because I don't want to do anything too hard at effort after that 10k for a few days, and just keeping it nice and chilled. And average heart rate 114 for the hour, did just under 11k. So still keeping it chilled. In the evening, I did 5k with Jen, just 6:01 pace. Average heart rate 112, super chilled again. I'm starting to feel like my legs are coming back to life after this. But that Tuesday morning, I felt quite flat. And now I'm Wednesday evening, starting to feel a bit better. So just half an hour, nice and easy, 112 heart rate, and just kind of checking off that Wednesday evening run. On Thursday, I just had the one threshold session, which I would normally do a morning and evening. I ended up doing this one in the evening at the gym on the treadmill, and it was 3 times 8 minutes with 60 seconds recovery. And I normally would do this session at 15 kilometers per hour on the treadmill, but because I'm kind of easing back into threshold, I figured 14 kilometers per hour probably would be a similar effort to that. And I think I was right. The heart rates kind of stayed similar to what it normally would at 15 kilometers per hour. I believe 14 kilometers per hour is about 417 per K. And I felt fine doing this session. The average pace ended up being 447. My average heart rate was 135, and you can see in the heart rate graph, my max was 155 towards the end of the 3rd rep. So not too bad, and that's pretty much like how my kind of threshold sessions would normally go. And I'm happy with that, just to kind of get the legs moving faster again and kind of add some effort into the week. It was quite nice getting that kind of intro back to threshold. The average paces for the splits kind of show 410 for the first rep, 418 for the second rep, 424 for the third rep. Average pace for the total was 4:17. Basically, I just did 14 kilometers per hour on the treadmill for the ons, and I think it was 9 or 10 for the recoveries, but they're only 60-second recoveries, so just back to a wee jog until I can kind of get going for the next rep again. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that session and I felt quite good after it. On Friday, I just did my normal recovery run in the morning, just 40 minutes at 5:53 pace, average heart rate of 112. So once again, super easy and yeah, not much stress to the body, just kind of getting the legs moving again. And yeah, feeling good after that session on Thursday evening. And for the Saturday long run, I wanted to do 2 hours, but if I was feeling bad after the hour and a half or so, I was just going to kind of cut it short. I wasn't going to kind of push it. But I did want to get the 2 hours in, just to kind of introduce myself to a bit longer runs again. So ended up doing the 2 hours, average pace of 4:54 and average heart rate of 132. This one, I didn't want to go over 140 heart rate. My max did creep over that, but it was at like 3K and 8K or something. It spiked and it was up a slight incline, but I was maintaining effort, so it wasn't like at the end of the run where my heart rate started to get quite high. So I kept it quite controlled between kind of 130 and 136, 138 for most of the run. So I was pretty happy with that. Ended up doing 24, just under 24.5K. My legs felt kind of fine towards the end. They were a little bit achy, but I felt like I had enough spring in them to keep going for quite some time. So I was pretty happy with that. Even though it was an easy effort, my legs still felt good, so pretty happy. And then that brings us on to today, where I just went out in the morning with Jen and I did half an hour with her at kind of her pace, which was similar to the average pace anyway in the end. And then she just did the half hour, and then I continued on for 16 minutes in the end to kind of round it up to 46 minutes. Did just under 7.5K, average heart rate 110. Once again, it's kind of just super easy recovery running. And yeah, it's just nice to get out there and, and still run on those days. My legs feel fine. I'm starting to feel like there's a bit more spring in them, which is nice at the end of this week. And then I'll have my double threshold again tomorrow, going into week 5 of my training series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into kind of a full week of training and adding my normal sessions into it and really keeping it controlled up until the half marathon. I really do want to target quite a bold time at Inverness, but I'm also like, maybe I'll just go out, try and kind of go to a pace that I think I'm pretty sure is sustainable, and then kind of tick off a PB, which I think is pretty likely. I did struggle towards the end of last year's just with stomach problems, so I couldn't push as hard as I felt like I could have. But you just never know on the day. I do think I'm between kind of an hour and 20:30 and an hour and 21:30 shape. I'm thinking probably around an hour and 21. I think I can get there, but it's in the back of my mind that I do want to push as close to that hour and 20 as I can. So yeah, we'll just wait and see how we're feeling closer to the half. But the average pace I'm looking at holding is about 350 per K, which is 10 seconds slower per K than I just ran the 10K. So I do think it's possible, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm also looking at changing the series where I do the week from Sunday through to Saturday, so I can film this on the Saturday and I've got time to edit it on the Sunday, rather than film this on the Sunday and then try and edit it at night or during a working week is a little bit harder to kind of manage. So don't be surprised if you see kind of a shorter week, and then we're going to continue on doing Sunday through to Saturday. I hope your training is going well. Let me know if you're training for any races in particular, and let me know, yeah, how it's going, how you're feeling, what you're kind of doing with your training, if you're doing something different to me. Let me know what's working for you. Love to hear it in the comments, and yeah, we can get chatting about the training there. I'm also thinking of doing some lives here and there where we can just chat about everything running, which will be, yeah, a bit of fun. And I do appreciate you staying to this point in the video. If you have and you've watched all of these weeks, you are just as invested in this sub 3 as I am, so I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.